first video with R.T.M. It's an insight with R.T.M. So I decided to choose such an amazing guest. There are actually two of them. That's Christy and Debi. Debi, I don't know if you're into this fitness journey or anything. You know, with the pandemic and everything, people are like, oh, these are my new rules.
Well, to be honest, Christy was my personal trainer back in London. Like, we used to do the FaceTime.
Yeah, we used to do virtual workouts.
Yeah, virtual workouts.
I was actually trying to introduce as a fitness coach, but away from that. So today we are going to be talking about relationship. It has been around for a while. Every day someone is talking about relationship. And with how many days is Valentine's?
It's on Monday.
Monday. Oh, that's close. I
Today's
don't even know if I'm going to make it. But anyway,
Thursday.
so
Yeah.
if I should ask you a question, is there anything that you consider that this generation is doing too much in regards to relationship, or is there something that you believe in that can be in a relationship that other people will not agree with?
Something that I'll start with the first half of the question. So something that the generation is doing too much is relying on social media to dictate what a relationship should be. Yeah, Christy, what do you think?
Yeah, Christy.
I was actually going to say the exact same thing. Like, even if it's not social media, I think there are a lot of different avenues for people that people look towards to have expectations of what a relationship should look like, which gives people really false expectations and has them in relationships thinking that it should be one way and it's not.
Yeah, because social media has actually changed my way of looking at things. Because you go on social media, probably like Instagram, TikTok, you see this perfect couple, you see these people who are posting videos, couple goals and all that. It actually has an impact in a kind of way, but that should not be the standards. Because because the gram and the real life are two different things.
Yeah.
That's what has kept me going. Because if you want to see that perfect couple online, I don't think they are that perfect.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. But there's nothing that keeps me in my mind. We are in a world, as we're talking about social media, people are highly connected. But I think this generation is more depressed than the old generation, the generation before us. What do you think is some of the things that have influenced generation to be so soaked into depression, anxiety, see people killing themselves? I don't know if it's actually social media.
From my perspective, I do think social media does bear a lot of the responsibility because we just have so much more access to other people and other people's lives, and a lot more things to compare our own lives to. And I think that's the downfall of a lot of people. And then I think we live in especially in this country, I think we live in a society that's just constantly pushing us to like get more and work harder and always aim to be like do the next thing, which I think can be healthy in some ways, but in other ways it puts in your mind that like what you have right now is never enough, and so you're always striving, always looking forward to the next thing or looking to have whatever that is, the next thing. And if you don't get it, then you start to feel like a failure, disappointment, feel like your life isn't going the way that it should. So yeah,
like you mentioned like the American perspective, because I've spent the first 20 parts of my life in Africa. It's kind of different. So I don't know if in Europe, is there something similar?
Yeah, so in London, I would say it's, I can't speak for Africa, but in London and the US, I would definitely say we live in a very like a popcorn generation. Like, we want everything microwaved really, really quickly. And, you know, our parents didn't have it like that. Like, our parents, they worked. They strive. They worked their butts off.
Yeah, because like in Africa, growing up, looking at your parents, they were not open to depression and everything because their goals were different. Like, they were into something, I'm sure it's like you state anybody who has a building, you have land, your children are successful, like your child is doing well in school, that's what keeps you going. But in our era right now, we are like, okay, who is posting this? Who is having this on this website? How are things going? We go either like, rather than asking for guidance from our parents or from mentors, we go on Google
But for the most part, I think we have to remember our parents, just because they didn't speak about it doesn't mean they didn't go through it.
That's true.
Yeah, because I think our parents' generation, this is a controversial statement, but they knew how to persevere. Like, if you think about it, our generation, they can't stay in a job for longer than 2 minutes. Like, they're on to the next one. And I'm not saying you should stay in a job that makes you depressed, but our parents definitely knew how to endure, how to persevere. And I think that has been lost in our generation. We just want everything so quickly.
Yeah, just want everything prime. Like, I want to meet this person today. I want to solve everything. I want perfect dates. I want everything to just go smoothly. I think that's where we have. I don't know if we have actually integrated, but like our parents, they did not have the chance to actually choose who they were about to date. These people were just like, okay, I see this family. Oh, they are good. You guys should just continue. So I think that aspect made them to be at peace in a certain way. Like Brian said, they didn't actually have the chance to speak up. Probably it existed, but it's not as pronounced now because everything.
And it was taboo. Like, I think back then as well. Like, it just wasn't a thing. And I think I'm glad now that we have the forum. Like, we have the space to talk about anxiety and fear and depression, because these things are real. Like, people really suffer with these things. And I guess our parents didn't have the outlets that we have now to talk about it.
Yeah, our parents didn't have that outlet, and they were giving spouses, they were giving people to get into relationships. So if I were to ask, what is the checklist for you? Like, what's the checklist for you for a Christian relationship? What are the things you want to see?
That's something that I think has evolved for me as I've matured in my faith and just matured in general. I think before it used to be a bit more superficial. Like, I used to really care about being with someone who was into the same things that I was into, like really passionate about fitness. So I wanted my partner to be really passionate about fitness and be mindful of what they eat and that kind of thing. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of reorganized my priorities, and really the most and probably the only important thing to me is that it's a person who is faithfully following Christ. And I think so everything else to me just kind of falls under that naturally. Like, if you're faithfully pursuing a relationship with Christ, if you are aiming to be more like Christ, you're an honorable person, you're a pure person, you're loyal, you're trustworthy, you're good-hearted, you're hardworking. So I found that, that's what the Bible verse is, but seek first the kingdom of heaven and everything else will be added on to you. So I've kind of tried to have that as like the top thing, and then trusting that the person who is following Christ will have what I need in a partner.
Yeah, and when you put those things, it's not like something which is pushing people away. It's just what you want. And the Bible tells us that what we desire, we seek, we ask, is going to provide for us. So some people look at checklists as bad, like this is so much. It's just probably like I don't know, but some people look at it in a kind of way. They feel like, no, probably the partner is asking for too much. But whatever we desire, I believe that God is going to grant us all those things. As a Christian single, my checklist starts with faith. As the person is faith-based, the person is passionate about Christ, because there are two different things. Because people hide under the canopy of Christians. Like, because some people feel like, okay, I don't want to go to hell, probably I should just be a Christian. I don't love some other kind of religion. So I think Christianity is cool, so they go stick around. Because for me, I want to see the passion in it.
Yeah.
I want to see how you are willing to know God more, how you are serving. So through that, that's because as long as you're faith related, you're passionate about Christ. They say, even the Bible says that seek ye first the kingdom of God, all other things will be added. So if somebody is actually serving, that's already a good check, because if you're really serving, all other things will be added. So I don't know about you, Debi, but
Yeah,
I don't know if your checklist is short or it's last.
well, I was going to say, I can't really add to what my cousin has just said. I think that was drop the mic moment there. Because you want someone who is actively pursuing and following Christ. I can't add to what my husband said.
Okay, so with all we have discussed, is there something that you feel that Christian singles or like youths right now, they're looking so much in a relationship so badly that you don't feel that it's probably overrated?
Okay, I'm gonna dissect that question. I think there's a danger in looking to relationships like you have to have it so badly because it becomes an idol. I've fallen into this trap as well. That you want something so bad that your desire overtakes you. And once that happens, it's where it should be God and everything else. It's now relationship, then something else, then God. If God is the author and giver of all things, He will do it for you. So I think there's a danger in wanting to be in a relationship, and I think if you're in that place, you should ask yourself why. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong in the desire to be with someone and to want that, because God has probably placed that desire on your heart. But what I will say is submit that desire to God.
We are talking about desires and things you actually want and things, because there are some people who are in relationships like, if we don't go out on so many dates, if we don't travel the world, do you think that is overrated for you?
Yes.
Yeah, for me, yeah. Because I guess it kind of goes back to what Debi was saying. Like, I think it matters what your intention is. Like, why are you thinking these things? Like, what do you want to get out of this relationship? Is this a means to an end? Are you using this relationship to get flown out, to get nice baths, to get dinners, to feel more attractive, whatever the case may be, to feel like a more confident person? But you have to also realize that if that's what you're wanting out of a relationship, you could end up with anyone on the other side of that. You could literally have anyone in front of you. As long as they're doing those things that you feel like this relationship is fulfilling, that could have a bunch of other negative things in there too.
Yeah, because people go into relationships with a lot of expectations, and when you get to the relationship and you get to the middle, when those expectations are not met, that's when people back out. That's why you discover that there are a lot of breakups, and breakups leads to depression, and it just keeps evolving into lots of disaster. So that's actually good, and we are about to end. I would like to end this little show of mine with 2 questions.
Okay.
So I will start with lawyer. So let me start with the lawyer.
Okay.
If you were about to create one law to surround Christian relationships that everybody should follow, what would that law be?
Law. I work in policy, but anyway. A law, Christian relationships. Okay, this is a bit deep, but law was the problem in the first place, which is why Christ came. Okay.
Yeah.
Or was one of the issues. So, I'll put it this way. I believe to have a successful relationship, God has to be the center. That's what I'm saying.
I like that one. Love that one. I think that's really it. The only other thing that I would add to it is esteem the other person higher than you esteem yourself. I've always felt like if people just moved like that in general, in relationships, outside of relationships, if you look at the person next to you as valuable and inherently valuable because they were created by God, then you'll treat that person as God's creation and they'll treat you as God's creation. And even if the relationship doesn't work out for whatever reason, there's still that level of like, I love you because we have the same Father. And hopefully from that, you can still have doesn't have to be held back. It can still be a really beautiful thing.
That's good, cuz.
So then,
Oh, thank you.
no, that's awesome. I told you,
Yeah,
so smart.
Cheers.
So, Debbie, is there one thing you can say the best advice you've ever received? Or should we start with the worst advice? What's the worst advice you've ever received in your relationship?
What did I say earlier? Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is that even? In a relationship, I feel like it should be intentional. So what is going with the flow? Like, I'm not a river.
Like, some people actually go with the flow. Like,
Yeah, but
they're
then-
just like hoping that things will change along the way. But
Yeah, but then if you don't have the intentional discussions, you are just stuck in limbo, and then you are setting yourself up to get hurt. So just go with the flow was the worst for me.
do you have any words?
I don't think I have one that's like was explicitly said to me, but just in general, just staying away from like having some grand expectation of what a relationship is supposed to be. Like, don't put relationships on pedestals in general. Don't think that it's gonna solve all your problems. It's not. You're still gonna have all your problems and perhaps a few more. Just be realistic and
Good. I love the realistic part because it happened to me like a guy because our own form of reaction is different. They say when you start a relationship, you don't have some kind of conversations. But with my time, I'm not a professional, but I discovered that conversations are very necessary, especially those conversations that you feel like it's going to shy the person away. It's going to send the person away. You should have those ones when you are just about to know the person, because if you procrastinate, it accumulates. The fear of losing the person is worse than actually losing the person again.
yeah.
So that's the worst advice I've ever received. So let's go back to the good part. I'll start from my right again. So do you want to start with me?
No, it's fine. Yeah. You can start with my cousin. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the best advice you've ever received?
Pray about it.
That was so simple.
Same.
Pray about it.
Same.
Yeah.
I would say pray about it and have good conversations. Those hard conversations that you are scared to talk with your partner, you have them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because if you love somebody, you will say everything. Sometimes I'm shy about it, but I remember my mistakes and I'm like, you know what? Let's start talking about this thing before it gets
Yeah.
more. So, thank you all so much, Debbie, for honoring this invitation, and Christy. Hope to see you excelling in your relationships, and may God continue to bless you all. Thank
You
you.
too. Bless you.
Have a good one.